Most people do not believe that someone would falsely confess to something. They can't understand why that would happen. They falsely think that, if I were arrested, and they have to pull my fingernails out, and I still wouldn't say I did something I didn't do and all this kind of stuff. And that's, of course, nonsense, okay? And as 60 Minutes has said, Chicago is apparently the capital of the false confessions in the United States, because they're really excellent at getting them. And in fact, most of the law that has come out about improper ways to get confessions has come from Chicago.
I don't even know David Toles. I never seen David Toles a day in my life. When I seen David Toles, they was bringing him to the witness stand, and I'm looking for a guy to come out of the back, because I come out of when you go to court, you be in the back. So I knew he was locked up. So I'm expecting David Toles to come out of the back with me. Yeah. He comes through the front door. He come walking through the front door, unescorted, and I'm in shock. Well, but I thought this guy was locked up. He is. He's in witness protection. And he just come through the front door. And he came, and David Toles told a story that was so amazing that I didn't know what he was talking about at one point.
David Toles just made it all up. The case wasn't enough in the news that if you could sell your testimony because you would know enough about the case to make it sound like the guy really said something to you. It's one of the reasons my clients get mad at me, but I don't like to give them the police reports in jail, because I fear someone will read them and then make up a jailhouse confession. I'm afraid of that. I don't mind if they read them, but I just don't want to have them because I'm scared of that.
Right.
And Toles was looking to get out from under, I'm trying to remember what it was, an armed robbery, I think, or something like that, and he got a good deal.
When you were moved to the hospital where David Toles was, did the judge move you there for your safety because you were receiving threats? And at the same time, and revoked your bond?
No, I wasn't receiving no threats.
They said that they moved you to protective custody because you were receiving threats against your life.
No, I never received a threat. The only thing that happened to me was once they put me in the hospital, somebody tried to give me some disinfectant or something as Kool-Aid. But that was after I was already in the hospital. When I came from court that night, they took me, for some reason, they took me straight to the hospital. And here's the crazy thing though, Rob. If they wanted to put me in protective custody, which eventually they did, they could have just sent me to Division 1 originally like they did. They didn't move me until after they said that David Toles popped up. So it was like they put me there. It was like they put me there so they could say David Toles made contact with me. After they arrested me, it's like they all sat around and say, okay, this is the story we ride with. And this is our man, David Toles. We're going to use him. And the only thing that Andrea was really focusing on, she said, Lee, David Toles' theory of what happened is completely different than what the police said happened.
I can't read that in the pre-trial.
Yeah, they're telling two different stories. You have to really pay attention to what David Toles' testimony was, especially to the grand jury, and then read the police report. It's like the police forget what David Toles was, what they was telling David Toles. That's why it was so amazing that when David Toles took the stand, his story was so amazing that they had the court reporter to go behind David Toles and read what he told the grand jury. Forget about what you testified to saying. This is what you told the grand jury. And Andrea said, you can't do that. I heard Andrea say, you can't do that. And the judge allowed it.
David Toles was allowed to read the testimony he gave to the grand jury?
No. He testified first. He took the stand. He told his story. That's when he said that he could remember a lot if it benefited him. Well, they asked him what he told the grand jury, and he went to the Lakeshore Drive and kicking somebody out of the car, and they was gonna knock her or some mess. But that was not what we was looking at the defense tape. That's not what he said. So when he got through testifying, the state called the court reporter up from the grand jury, and she read into evidence the testimony that he testified to at the grand jury. And Andrea said that's prior inconsistent statements, something like that it shouldn't be allowed, and the judge allowed it. Yeah. She said, Lee, this has never happened. I've never seen this happen. Never. But it happened. No, I didn't lose them. The people here, they was in my property when I got the Pontiac. And the people in here took those letters out of my property, called me up to Internal Affairs, and asked me about the letters. And then after I put down the grievance and made us think about it, they went to give me the letters back, and then they claimed they couldn't find them. What made them take them letters out of my property? I have the slightest idea. Out of all the when I got the Pontiac, I must have had 50 or 60 letters from family, friends. Those were the only letters they went in there and took out of there. It was like they knew that I had them letters. And they took them from me. That's how I didn't lose them, they took them. Yeah, and the black guy, he still works here. He was going to give them back to me. And he said, Lee, I can't find them. I don't know where they at. And he looked hard. He said, I done looked everywhere. I done went to property. I done went in our office. I don't know who got them letters. But then at the same time, the state's attorney knew about the letters.
How does the state's attorney, I don't even remember how anybody knew about the letters.
Somebody here had to tell them.
Yeah.
Somebody here at Pontiac had to tell them about them letters. Because, you know what was funny? The first time that Karen Florick came to Pontiac to see me, usually they have the lawyers to visit in the visiting rooms. When Karen Florick and her investigator came to see me, they let them inside the institution, inside the Internal Affairs office, in one of their offices. And I asked her, say, Karen, you know, this is unusual. Why are we meeting in their office? Why are we in the Internal Affairs office instead of in the room where the regular lawyers meet at? She said, they don't meet here? I said, no. And after that, we didn't go in that room no more.